Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. It's getting messy in St. Louis. Not old stories about me and Trev, but the Cardinals. A lot of other baseball too. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Make sure you use code TALKIN, $20 off your first order. Go check out your team. Go check out my team. Maybe go check out what's going on in the Lou. Things are getting straight up wild over there. And we had some big series this weekend. My Yanks lose to the Rays. Shocked about that. Braves O's. Who had that as a top-tier series coming into the year? It sure was. Two hot teams. And a lot of other good baseball being played. Red Sox, kid. They reeled off 8 at one point. Trev, how are you doing? Nervous out there is the rumor.
Yeah, a little nervous. I got some big stuff coming up a week from today, actually. I'll be on the field at Dodger Stadium talking about my Twins, who, had a tough series out there in Cleveland. We got to figure out some offense. We'll be all right, guys. But I had a great weekend. Nice little barbecue last night. I know we're going to get into the games, but I was watching the Padres-Dodger game.
Yes.
And I saw Hader come in, and I just was like, all right, well, game's over. And I had some stuff. I was grilling and doing some stuff. I didn't even know the Dodgers came back and won. Spoiler alert.
Teaser.
Until this morning, I was like, what happened?
Trev.
So, very interesting. Look, Hader's usually a lockdown guy. Just gave him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm excited to talk ball. Monday episodes are my favorite. I got a lot of energy right now. I'm missing a tooth. Yeah. Which is a thing, apparently. Me and Jimmy with our teeth. And, yeah, man, we're going to get into it. I got a good award today. Nice standout.
I lost a tooth last year, so...
BBD on
so
team
we're
teeth.
all so now just Jake has to
okay. Jake, just lose a tooth, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Old Talkin' Yanks Day, I might have had a wisdom tooth removed, but it was pretty standard. Yeah, Trev, I'll be honest with you, and I hate it because I tweeted this out. Sunday Night Baseball, little biased towards Coney, but I do think he's good in the booth. Watching San Diego play the Dodgers was awesome. Like two great West Coast teams. I obviously don't watch them play every night, but to watch them have a rubber match, the intensity, and just, every person on the field has a story. It's where baseball's awesome, right? Like hearing about James Outman being a middle linebacker in high school and that he's kind of like wired that way.
He looks like it.
Like he gets hit with the pitch and he loves it. Like he's one of those guys. It's like, okay, I'll put that in my James Outman bank. What the hell was that's what a superstar looks like, Nando comment by Eduardo? That was a little crazy. And yeah, just everywhere around the field. Musgrove, Urias, Machado, Cronenworth, Betts, Freddie, that it ends with, Betts gets Hader and Trev, the whole reason I let into this, and I want to apologize to the people a little bit, because I think Sunday Night Baseball should be a thing this summer. There's going to be some duds. There's going to be some bad games.
Sure.
But, as a baseball community, let's buckle up and do it because you do learn so much more about these people watching them and, the James Outman linebacker thing. I'll have that forever now. If I didn't watch that, I would have never found out, Trev, Hader, 2 outs. Mookie Betts, 0 for 4 against Josh Hader. I did a quick last channel to check in on the NBA game just because I think the third quarter was going. Flip back, balls in the stands.
Sames.
And then the Dodgers go on to win it, which there was some good East Coast, West Coast parallels. Rays, Dodgers, Padres, Yankees. IMO.
Did you? I mean, look, I know we're going to get into it. There's a lot to talk about. I think we're going to spend a hefty portion of this episode talking about the Cardinals because holy shnikes.
Yeah.
Jose Siri.
Yeah.
The necklaces. Whoa. He looks like those Bat Boys baseball on IG. They always wear those silly necklaces all the time. They're young kids, they're like swagging out, whatever.
Swag,
that's a
bro.
fucking horrible word to use.
Swagoo.
I'm sorry. No, we don't. I don't think that's a word anymore.
Okay.
Jose Siri's necklace game is on point.
Jose Siri's on point, man. He's electric.
He is on point.
His speed is electric. His arm is electric. His power is electric. It's just, will he hit a baseball enough to make it work? And he has been. He's what I like. I don't know.
I was going to say, like, he's your type of player.
I don't know how to say that.
Sorry that he's not on your team.
Without
and he's actually
being creepy.
He hurt your team.
He's dominating my team. And Topps Bowman has been dominating the card game for about 70, 80 years. Not a math pod. 1948, Trev, end of World War II, where you ended last episode. And you guys know, if you're in the cards world, Topps Bowman, they are the dudes.
They're the tops.
They are the tops. Top-rated prospects, rookies, and veterans. Fun and exciting product for everyone in the hobby. Each year, there's a new and exciting class of potential future Hall of Fame players. Drew Jones, Snakes, another series win. Whoops. Jacob Berry, Justin Crawford, Spencer Jones. Call him up, Yanks. Why not at this point? Find the game's future stars in 2023 Bowman Baseball. Available at your local hobby shops, retailers, and Topps.com. And why don't you check out the link in the description? Trev, you want to talk a little American League ball?
Do I ever? Hit us with it, man. Hit us with it.
A lot of good teams, man. Trevor, in your American League, the best team in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, won 2 out of 3 against the New York Yankees, not the best team in baseball. Although the Yankees are doing this fun thing of the games they kind of win, they lose. The games they kind of lose, they win recently. Baseball Susan. Yankees come back in the first game. Good to see you, Harrison Bader. What a series he had. Rays make the winning plays to win the game, a.k.a. ball off the left fielder's glove. They come back from down 6-0 versus Garrett Cole in the final game. Yankees could have won back-to-back series. Garrett Cole on the mound, take down the big bag Rays. Siri, Rays baseball, man, that team is good. They win against the Yanks 2 out of 3. Trev, your Twinkies. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Guard Dogs as they try to get back in the mix this season. Bailey Ober, you might hear about him later, though. He dropped it in Game 1, gives the Twins a 2-0 win. Max Kepler with the homer there. But the Guardians hit the Quan in Game 2, his first homer of the year. It's a big one, and Cal Quantrill picks him up, shuts him down on that final day. Guards get a series that they kind of needed. Rangers take 2 out of 3 from the Halos. Man, Nate Eovaldi, that was a signing we liked, and people are liking even more. He drops it again. 8 innings, shut piece. Jonah Heim, always. And that last game, man, Zeke Duran, he's been doing it. Adolis, we always say that one wrong. I try my best. Garcia, Texas, real good. Halos came back in that first one, and they win in extras. But Rangers win another series, and boy, they're starting to look more and more real. This one's an interesting one, Trevor. Seattle Mariners take 2 out of 3 from Houston. A couple teams hovering or below 500. What? Astros win that first game. Javier versus Castillo, pump it into my veins. Kyle Tucker, game winner. Might hear more about him later. And then we had the France off in Game 2. JP France with his MLB debut versus Ty France. JP Crawford in that game. And then the Seattle boys, they put up big numbers in the final game. They win a big series for them. Houston, a lot of injuries, 500. It's early May. There's a lot to talk about in the AL. Let's do it. Trevor Plouffe.
I got to stop you.
Please.
You completely skipped over. I don't know if this was intentional or not,
What's
But
that?
there's a series here you completely skipped
What
over,
series?
And people are going to be mad. It's the A's and the Royals.
A's and Royals played. Trev, what'd you like from that series? Rooker's really good. Pasquantino's really good.
I like Mason Miller.
Someone had to win.
Pasquantino.
Pasquantina. Yeah, she's
Check him out on the Rose
she's
rotation.
hot.
Don't forget these two teams. Cain had his day. Sal hit a homer. Come on.
And, hey, best wishes to our guy, Ryan Yarborough, early friend of the program. Liner off the dome. We hate that. Esteury Ruiz hitting streak. Yes. A's starting pitcher gets their first win of the year in their 33rd game.
And not a great start.
A's win a series, win their first series. Go, Oakland, go. Royals, yipes. Did I miss that? Trev, Tampa Bay Rays, 28-7. Don't care how you slice it. That's incredible. The Baltimore Orioles, 22-12. Basically the same, just getting overshadowed. The Toronto Blue Jays are 21-14. And look at your Sox, kid. 21-15. They played some Interleague. Yanks are 18-17. God, yesterday's loss is worse and worse by the hour. The Minnesota Twins are 19-16. 2.5 games up on the Cleveland Guardians, 16-18. The Detroit Tigers, for a second, stuck into second place. They're 15-18. White Sox, 12-23. Hey, won a series. Kansas City, 9-26. Oh, my. Texas Rangers are 20-13. Angels are 19-16. Houston and Seattle, 17-17, while Oakland, 8-27. Trevor Goof, I guess any final notes on Oakland and Kansas City? It seemed like we started there.
I just thought it was funny. They finally get their first win. They interviewed the guy after the game, this Kyle Mueller, and he was talking about, he said, we've had a lot of better starts that haven't got a victory. He's like, but I'll take it. You went 5 1/3, you get 5 earned runs. Sometimes it happens like that, man.
Yeah.
But shout out, there was Cain had a retirement thing there, so he was in town, and I'm using my hands a lot right now when I talk. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm just going like this over and over. I like that about Cain, though. I know this has nothing to do with the series, but he was such a prominent figure when I played against those guys, and I actually hated him because he would just go and catch all of my balls in the gap.
A lot of doubles came back as outs.
Took a lot of money out of my pocket, but I respect the player he is. And for all the people that are out there talking about their 7, 8-year-old kids and they're on these elite teams and ranked, Cain didn't even start playing baseball until his sophomore year of high school. Okay, so just everyone relax a little bit, okay?
And I'd like to add on that a reminder that your kids, they're also not Cain. Cain, pretty special. So double-edged sword there. I'll just pop the balloons. Trev, why don't we bang out our two teams here, right? Your guards, excuse me, Chris Rose's guards against your Twins. Ooh, is he going to lay into you? He's got to be hyped up for that.
I mean, I watched a lot of this series, and I don't know if either team is super stoked on how it went. I mean, the offense is just, for especially for the Twins, they just haven't showed up. Carlos Correa he needs to get it going. He's had some of the counting stats happen for him, but he's just not where he needs to be offensively. And I think it's probably the biggest thing for the Twins. The depth at the bottom really hasn't showed up. Kind of need Jose Miranda to get going a little bit. I'll talk about Ober because that was a bright spot. He looked really good. And then Kepler kind of did his thing in game 1. And just throughout the series, he loves hitting in Cleveland. He loves hitting in Cleveland. I think he has the third most home runs by a visiting player, in park history, which is awesome. But look, the Guardians came to play. They played the way that they do. They pitched the ball. They played small ball. Look at the scores, man. 2-0, 4-3, 2-0. Quantrill, when he was on the mound for them, just looked really good. Just spotting everything up where he wanted. He was making them chase the cutter off the plate. He was elevating his fastball. Then he was, using his off speed at the right times, just changing pace. He looked really good. He matched Joe Ryan. Joe gave up 4 singles in the first. He ends up, getting out of there, 2 runs in the first, but it could have been way worse. Then he settled down and, both pitching staffs did well, just the offenses really weren't there.
Yeah,
that's kind of been a theme throughout the season for both of these teams.
Quantrill, a guy that the career numbers pretty nice. 510 innings, a 3.56 ERA. I think some of the measurables haven't loved him as much. I always get sucked in when a guy has a MLB family pedigree, and I don't know if that's just being obnoxious sports fan or like I don't know this guy's pops had some pretty good pointers to him throughout the way until now. And yeah, Trev, I'm trying to feed you this hitting theory that to be a good team, you need a lineup that bangs top to bottom. And I saw the Guardians have
what a theory.
I know, right? Like Analytics Jake coming out early. But no, in all seriousness, like it always used to be like, that 5-man rotation. If you're passing the baton, and you're getting those 6-7 quality innings every night, that's how you go on win streaks. I'm looking at the best teams in baseball. They all bang. Like there's not right now. Is there a good this team wins on their pitching team in baseball? I don't know. I guess top of my head, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of really good, well-rounded teams that are also hitting and pitching. But those Braves-Orioles games, like a lot of the best teams in baseball, top to bottom bangs. And I saw that Guardian stat that's like when they score 4 runs, they win a lot of their games. Where was it? But the Yankees have the same stat. The Yankees, when they score 4 runs, they're like 11-3 this year. And I think the Guardians are 11-2 when they score 4. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if there's more pitching around the league. The theory's obviously not perfect, but
I love that theory, bro. You need good hitters to hit.
It doesn't sound like rocket science, but if you have holes or a weak second half of your lineup, that allows the other team's pitching to really navigate your top half of the lineup.
You can pitch around and you can set yourself up and go with like the platoon and stuff like that. That I understand that 100%. It's why like the Dodgers, I watched quite a few of their games. That's why I always reference them. I mean, top to bottom, they're getting production. And that's why they're able to come back in games like they did against San Diego last night. Like, I'm looking at the Twins rankings right now. You talk about a team that, is pitching. Their starters are unreal. Second in ERA, first in WHIP, second in Ks per 9, hits per 9. Their offense, 30th in average, 28th in OBP, 21st in OPS, man. So look, I think they're 2 games over 500, 19-17, something like that. So I guess that's one team that's getting it done just by pitching.
In my quick survey of the league, it looks like they're the only team currently in a playoff position that I would toss the being carried by their pitching label around. But
19-16, excuse me. Yeah. No, it's even in this series, for instance, Battenfield, who started, I think it's game 1. What they kept saying about him was Terry Francona they optioned Plesac down to AAA. They want to see if this guy can do it at the big league level. And he goes out there. He had a perfect game through like 6 or something like that. Like this is a guy they're seeing if he can do it. And no offense to Battenfield, like I hope he has a great career and sticks up here. He looked pretty good. But I mean, the offense just wasn't there for the Twins. Quantrill had a no-hitter into the 7th. Like this was a bad offensive series for the Twins, and they have to figure it out. I don't know. I honestly don't know what what they can do other than just like getting the guys they have hot. Yeah. Like, Kirilloff is back, and that's the option, Trevor Larnach for him, and, hopefully he can get it going. But I think for them offensively to be where they need to be, it's Correa has to lead the charge. Yeah, and some of the guys at the bottom order have to pick it up, obviously.
If the Twins, I guess when I was saying that, if the Twins want to be considered one of the elite threats this year, because you're right, their starting pitching has been so special. You need something on offense, because guess what? I mean, the Guardians, after winning this series, they're a good series away from like tying up the Twins or potentially catching the Twins, and they're in a similar boat, man. They're 30th in OPS, 28th in runs, 30th in homers. This was like the young Cleveland team that hit last year, and it just shows, Trev, why we don't do predictions like fully. Like, we do our prop bet show and things like that, but people wonder why we don't hammer the tail. Oscar Gonzalez is in the minors. That guy was great last year and hit a playoff series-winning home run, and then another game-winning playoff home run last year. Like, okay, if you play the chalk there, that guy would be a stud this year, right? He's in AAA, and probably the other thing on your batting field, crazy name, by the way.
Love that.
I think the gap between, as we've talked about the development of baseball, I think the gap between majors and minors, at least pitching-wise, has really closed. That what you're saying, I mean, a Peyton Battenfield getting called up 20 years ago, and it's like, we're going to find out what the kid's got. A lot of times it's like, oh, that kid might not have it at this level. Peyton Battenfield might get hot for a couple months. Like, you just don't know with these guys. Guardians have a nice little schedule stretch coming up with a couple off days in between. Well, I say that the Tigers fighting in that division. What's your Minnesota team doing? They're coming out west, right, Trev?
They're at home versus the Padres, and then they host
Diego.
the Cubs as well, and then they come to LA and to Anaheim.
Okay, after an off day,
I'll be there. Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's you.
You'll spark it.
I am gonna look so freaking good though.
Yeah.
So like, I might be a distraction. Also, that's part of it.
Both
Maybe
teams,
for the other
though,
team.
yeah.
Do you think it's like okay?
Joe
Because I've said
Ryan
this on the
Day.
show before. Let me just
Ryan.
ask you this question.
Wow.
I've said that if you're not a coach or a player, you shouldn't be like watching video and giving like if you see a tell on a pitcher,
Right.
it should only be players and coaches. Now, what if I see something? I'll be in the dugout watching the game. It's what I used to do for fun.
Right.
If I see something, am I allowed to tell the team?
Trev, I think it turns into a case of it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Oh.
So I think you do something like, if you call over, one of the guys you played with, Polanco or something, and you're like, hey, Poppy, is he fluttering that glove a little bit on the breaking balls? And then they look for it, then they feel like they discovered it, and it's not you being like, hey, I think that guy's tipping, because I think they'll be like, Floofy, you're out of the game, bro. Like that.
No, they
Have
probably
one of them
welcome it right now. They go,
confirm
please.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. If you're
like,
searching for runs, you might just take anything.
Do I cough and like, oh, this detailed scouting report just fell into your dugout. Take it.
I would just, if you think you think it's a breaking ball, just like hit something twice.
Oh, stop.
And if you think, Trev, any questions or comments about my Yankees, who again get the work, but are a couple plays away from winning a series that would be massive for them, but they don't? I don't know.
I don't know. It's such a fun series to watch. I mean, you guys got to be happy about Bader coming back and having a big series. That's nice. You take away something from this series.
Smart.
I did see on Twitter a lot of people just really upset about that 6-run lead evaporating pretty much like in an instant. Like you made some noodles, some
2
ramen
innings.
noodles, and all of a sudden tie game, and then you end up losing that game. I don't know. The Rays are special, man. What they do. Do you think? Here's my question for you.
Sure.
Did they hit a Rose Rain on purpose? Didn't seem so the first time, but the second time was looked like intentful.
Yeah, there was a
Intentful?
Nice. I'm rubbing off on you.
A tent full of people.
I think a lot of people wanted it to be like the Randy because he hit a home run and then he did his arms crossing. It wasn't that at all. I do think, wasn't there a sliding play at second base where he came in hot? Like him and Glaber got a little dusty. That might have been part 2 of it. It was also like yes and no. They clearly try to pitch a Rosarena in.
Yeah.
And then there was another pitch. Oh, one of the Rays like sidewinders left a slider outside of a batter, and it was actually the Josh Donaldson highlight reel with the Yankees hasn't been beautiful.
Extensive.
But he mockingly looked at the Rays like, "Hey, we doing this?" Because it was clearly like a sidearm slider that got away. So both dugouts were laughing at that, which
That's nice.
end of the day was kind of good. But yeah, man, Trev, the first one, Jake Bauers, who's been up and down from the minors the past couple years, he finds himself in left field. Ball goes out off his glove that He catches that. Rays probably don't score that inning. Meanwhile, the Yankees in the next half, they had a runner on third with less than 2 outs, and they didn't get him home. So, the Rays, the lineup theory, top to bottom, Yankees, you get like once every 2.5 innings, it feels like you have a chance to do something. The Rays, it's every inning, and I think that's massive. Meanwhile, they do the right things. Those corny
dude.
Rays lines we talk about, like, what'd you just see?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I was on the Twins baseball reference page. I was searching for how many guys have an OPS plus over 100. For them, it was 3. Gallo leading the way, Buxton doing it, Kepler at 109. Everybody else under. 2 people above 800 OPSs. The Rays, I just clicked on.
Yeah, man.
10 dudes over 100 OPS plus. 8 dudes with OPSs 800 or higher. 2 dudes with $1. Harold Ramirez is lost in the shuffle.
Yes.
Son of a gun, dude. He's slugging 611, Jake. They're a fucking menace, dude. All right, that's all I had.
I mean,
their only starter under that is Margot, who at times last year was their only offense. So
Orioles
they'll figure it out.
Orioles have 7 guys. The Braves have 6, and a couple of their guys that technically don't are guys that have had great MLB careers. So, yeah, man, you gotta bang. You have to give yourself a chance in every inning, because the more chances, the more you're gonna score.
You're crushing it today.
Analytics,
analytics.
Fucking analytics. And that's tough. Cole, who pitcher of the month in April, they try to get more out of him because 5th inning Cole versus the 6th guy out of your bullpen. You're gonna ride Cole, but he gets got, and good on the Rays. God, Yankees.
Let's hit the other series, Poppy.
Is it Texas LA? Is that the last one in the AL? Oh,
Texas LA, then
2
Houston
West Coast. Okay,
yeah,
so
a couple West Coast stuff.
What's Trev, what's more important to you? Seattle and Houston or LA, Texas?
Let's cron pot it. On the sheet we have Rangers, LA. I mean, these are they're all West teams, so we can just kind of go into it. I mean, the Angels, they win the first game. They come from behind, they do it. Walk-off style, feeling good about their series, and then the Rangers bludgeon them to death the next 2 nights, have a position player pitch. They've had some injuries to their staff. They've had some poor performance. Nevin has been talking about their defense and how poor that was. But you look at the standings and they're right there.
Yeah,
this team has played all right, man. So I guess I'm curious, Angels fans are going to let us know anyway, but how are we feeling about the season right now? I think most Angels fans are cautiously optimistic. They understood what happened last year. They got real cocky and then things happened. I think now they're just okay, we're playing all right. Definitely there's some issues there with the staff and the depth and all that stuff, because they've been, 10 runs for the Rangers and 16 runs for the Rangers, in the last 2 games. That's going to put a hurting on your staff.
Hey, I want to give a shout out. I mentioned winning baseball plays and runners from third and things like that. Great note by Dalton here. Rendon, driven in a runner from third with less than 2 outs, 9 out of 11 tries this year. That's big league
beautiful
stuff, man. That's big league stuff. And by the way, Trev, you'd like his stat line right now. 291, 418 on base from Tony Rendon. So, hey, Oakland sparked him. And yeah, Trev, again, I hate to be the analytics nerd on this show, but the Rangers bang, man.
Yeah.
Trev, play your OPS plus game there. Nate Lowe is 8th on the team in OPS. Nathaniel Lowe, he likes Nathaniel. A 115.
I do too.
A 115 OPS plus has him 8th on the team.
I didn't know that. I'm going now. I didn't know they were banging like that, Jake. Holy shnikes.
The Rangers bang, dude.
Wow. And they can pitch a little bit.
They bought a whole staff.
DeGrom, come on, man.
And your owner can buy a new staff too.
Okay. Jonah Heim doing it. Okay.
Sounded like an ad read.
Sometimes I'll go a week without checking a team's baseball reference page, and then I get back to it. I'm like, whoa, okay. That's happening right now with the Rangers baseball reference page.
It's where I'm going to change my tune. Last week when we talked, I said, like, I want to see the next chapter of baseball. Like, I want to know how this plays out. I'm ready to watch it play out now because, Trev, there's 5 AL East teams that have playoff hopes this year. There are 4 AL West teams that have playoff hopes this year. You start crunching the numbers on that, and, like, managers are going to get fired this year, like, in a big way. And we know how that's kind of rude, kind of not sometimes. I have no idea how this plays out. I think this is the first time people are genuinely giving a thought to, like, is Houston half in trouble? They have a ton of injuries right now. Yeah. And that's why people are wondering that because, which pitcher did they just lose for the year? Luis Garcia?
Yes.
To Tommy John, that Oakland rotation that we, normally get hard-ons about and they've, like, traded surpluses at the deadline. Right now, it's Framber, Javier, J.P. France, Brandon Bielak, Hunter Brown. Now, Hunter Brown's been incredible. And
J.P. France came up and just fucking looked lights out.
So, like, again, that's where Houston is different in general.
Got some sauce.
And honestly, if any of us had to bet on it, like, do we think summer rolls around and Altuve's back and things are humming in Oakland or in Houston? Yes. But I think it was one of the first head tilts that it's like, shit, man. If Texas is for real, Seattle looks like they're getting the boat back on track. The Angels are fighting for the best player to ever play this game to keep him on their roster through August. That I don't know, man. And it's why you won't hear Yankee fans talking any junk on the internet because we're scared. Because if the ball starts bouncing even worse, which it easily kind of could, the Yanks are going to be in a spot they often do not find themselves in. So it's happening in the AL.
I'm looking at the Rangers, like, depth that they have because obviously DeGrom, we're hoping he can pitch. Jack Leiter, everyone knows who that is. He's been kind of struggling down there in the minor leagues. I was thinking maybe he'll come up and do something. Kumar Rocker, like I haven't looked up his numbers. Like, are we going to see some of these guys? Because other than that, I mean, Eovaldi's been good. Martin Perez has been good. He had a tough start here. Heaney's kind of like, he'll have his days, but
right.
He also can get hit around a little bit. Gray I think he's doing all right. What are his numbers right now? Like, as much as this team hits, like if they can either trade for another starter if they need it, or they have someone they can bring up, like this is like, I said I had to see it come together with the Rangers. It's coming together, man. Like it's it's like a jambalaya. That's what I thought. Like there's a lot of ingredients there, and if you don't hit them all right, your jambalaya ain't gonna be tasting good. They hit it. That's not a Texas thing, but
no,
you know what I'm talking about.
And Trev, the OPS plus game that we've been playing this episode that we've stumbled into, not factored in to the Texas Rangers, who I mentioned do have 8 currently. Corey Seager is not on that list because he's been injured and out, so he doesn't qualify. The Houston Astros, they currently have 3 hitters with a 100-plus OPS plus, and that includes Pena, who's at 102. It's just been Tucker and Yordan for them, man.
And they've been pitching.
They've been pitching, but you need Breggy to go. You need Jose Abreu to go. Corey Julks had a hot week, and you need that Altuve guy back because he's special. But I guess that's what I'm wondering, man. When does all that take place? Because I realize you got to be patient, and we look back at last I would think last year's August episode or 2 years August episode, one or two teams from the playoff picture do change in each league. I remember the Cardinals got really hot. What was that, 2 years ago or last year? A baseball season can be really, really long. And we're still in that. It's early May, but some stuff's got to start shuffling because there's not a lot of easy teams on the schedule, and that's where I'll partially apologize to Rays fans. I looked at the Yankees schedule to see, when do we get 3 weeks of, a few, walkover teams? It's not there. It doesn't exist in MLB's current climate, and people are talking about the trade deadline now, that it could be, awful because everyone's going to be in it, which would be a little bit of that wild card ripple effect. I don't know, but good on Texas. They bang. And your Mariners, Trev, they dug themselves a little hole. They've started winning series, and that's that's another part of my analytics bind. Win the series.
Love that. And that game 2, this is a great series, man. Game 2, JP Crawford with the 3-run double. And then they kind of take control there. 7 runs scored with 2 outs. That's something. That shows you a little bit of, what do we call it? Grit. I love watching JP Crawford get a big hit, man. I do. I root for that guy, not only because the Mariners fans have turned me into Reek,
right?
Just because I've seen, him get lost in the shuffle in different organizations and find a home. That's my favorite thing in baseball is when that happens. When a guy doesn't work out somewhere, he ends up working out somewhere else. Maybe like Joey Gallo's doing in Minnesota as well. And then we got to see Bryce Miller do it again for the Mariners. They just have pitching coming out the wazoo. Gotta love that. That was a big series for them. I think, Houston can play hey, we're still finding our way back. We were dealing with injuries. We don't have our full complement of players. Mariners really can't say that. And, they go and win a series. They've been asking me to pronounce them dead. I'm not going to do it, people. Cardinals fans, my gosh, they're in my mentions every day. I mean, you already pronounced them dead. I haven't said a thing.
I didn't pronounce the Cardinals dead. I pronounced the White Sox dead.
But this is a big series for Seattle. They debuted the unis too, the City Connect, which I wasn't sure if I was going to like them because the pants were a different color, and in promos they didn't really do it for me. It's almost like when you see something on a mannequin, you're like, and then you put it on, and you're like, okay. When they had them on, I liked it.
Okay. Yeah.
They look like a fucking comic book, but in a good way.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Julio's got superhero come to life vibes. They have been pitching. As a team, their pitching stats are really good. They got to get the offense turning, and they've got the names in that lineup that they can go, and that's Trev. It's where I get caught up because they're going to play 3 versus Texas, which another kind of big series, right?
These teams are swapping series, which is awesome.
We're starting to get into the Yankees Rays series mattered this weekend. I realize if there's someone who's not a baseball fan tuning into this, they couldn't piss off more. Oh yeah, Macer. Seriously. The Yankees have 8 coming up against Toronto and Tampa after they play Oakland this week. And if they shit the bed, they will not win the division this year. You can't say that about some Yankees teams in May. Texas, at Detroit, and at Boston. I don't know where Detroit's at right now. Are they just staying alive, or did they find it? I don't know. But keep winning series. That's the only way out. Nobody... I don't know. The next chapters of this season are going to be fun, Trev.
Yeah.
Should we talk a little... would you want to talk some National League Baseball?
I would like to talk some National League Baseball. Let's do it.
Trev, National League Baseball. I did. I put in who's going to get my award at the bottom of the show, Trev. If you're interested in that,
I'm going to check it out so I don't step on your toes.
A pair of shorts you may be interested in, Trev. These are big boys. Bird dogs. I mean, if you're in our demo,
Whoa, you get a free Yeti-style tumbler?
you get a free Yeti-style tumbler when you get your Bird Dogs. I mean, there's a lot of you listening to this are already Bird Dog people. I don't have to sell you on the product. If you're not,
I've been seeing those Instagram ads for years, and
I think
they get me every time.
I think they were like an old Shark Tank company and stuff like that. Like Bird Dogs has been in the game for a while, and they make comfortable shorts for men that look great. That's the formula. They fit well, they're comfortable, and they are versatile. Golf course, meeting, date, hanging with the fellas. And so you're going to get these anyways. You might as well get your tumbler on. Trev's jealous right now through the screen. Click the link in the description. Go to birddogs.com. When you enter promo code Talkin, you're going to get a free Yeti-style tumbler with every order. And I'd like to add this, because, Trev, you perked up when I put this on screen. I came from a world of not using the Yeti tumblers, and I was like, all right, like, I don't know, it's a cup that holds liquids.
I've used a cup.
Use it. It's unreal. How long it can keep stuff cold, it literally blows my mind. Like, analytics Jake can't handle this. And I see you laughing because you know how much that would blow my mind.
Like, oh, the technology.
Some of these simple
works.
things just, yeah. Hey, you know what? It keeps him hot, too. I got hot coffee in
Right?
here.
The temperature you want it to be,
So-
it'll stay there. And that's a throw-in.
You drink something literally every day, you're going to be wearing some Bird Dogs.
I kind of dig this, like 10% off, 20% off. Great, but like a tangible item gets sent your way.
Here's our product, and here's this. Bang.
Mm.
Have a nice day on the boat. Whew. Maybe, if that's what you're into.
Sounds lovely, if that's what you're into.
Let's talk some National League Baseball. And why don't we head out to the friendly confines of Wrigley Field, where the Cubbies take 2 out of 3 from the Florida Fish. This was one of the series I said, okay, like, let's see what you got, these teams. Cubs, they go out and they win the first 2. Justin Steele, my goodness, he just performs every outing. So does Ian Happ and Nico Horner. You know this by now. Keegan Thompson with a really good effort for the Cubbies that helped them win that second game. They called up never nervous Matt Mervis, Cubs prospect. Get in the game on him. Get some of his cards, why don't you? And then what happens on that final day is they go for the sweep. Here's Sandy. He's going for the shutout. These Cubs can't quit. They rally. Happer's in there. Belly's in there. Bunos, Cantos, extra innings. Joey Wendell. Miami, 11-0 in one-run games. They win in 14. Craziness in the final day.
Why are you disrespectful to Joey?
I wasn't. That's just how I know it. People tagged me in that. Mets hosted the Rockies, and the Mets lose 2 out of 3. Kelsey Wingert's in town. My Jess is at the game for the 1-0 Senzatella Senga game. Jess was all sorts of hype for that one. Nimmo was good in that one. Mets 1-0. That's it. That's it. Good pitching around the field. But then the Rocks, they knocked it around that final day. Chris Bryant, get to know Ezequiel Tovar. There's a reason your Rocks haven't made a big move at shortstop. They like him. And he balled out these final 2 games. They've won, the Mets, I think, are 3-11 on their last 14 games. Yikes. Yikes. What's going on in Flushings? The D-backs take 2 out of 3 from the Nats. Scheduled tweet. Josiah Gray, Merrill Kelly. There's a sneaky pitching matchup for you. Corbin Carroll officially full-blown in. The bat jumps off his ball differently. Bloopers over shortstop, leave the ballpark. He had one of those in this one. He's got a hitting streak going. They're going for the sweep, but these Nats won't quit. Joey Meneses with a big boy day at the stadium and a big home run. Nats get it done. Top 9 behind that. Joey Meneses homer. Good for the Nats. They're fighting. Snakes keep winning series. And then Trev, Sunday Night Baseball. Dodgers-Padres, the rivalry. Padres getting some momentum. They win the first game. Kershaw, Darvish, pumping into my veins. How's Fernando Tatis? Couple ding-dongs like that. Snell and May, keep pumping it into my veins. It doesn't get better than that, man. But May outdoes them. Dodgers get a 2-1 win. And Sunday Night Baseball. Padres are going to hold it out. Oh, no, his name is Mookie Betts. He gets it done. And then the kids, Trevor, they didn't get it done earlier in the game. I think the 9th or the 8th inning. Extra innings. Here's James Outman, and there he goes. Into the stands. Dodgers take the series against the Padres. Boogity, boogity. Snuck that one up on them. The San Francisco Giants have entered the conversation recently, Trev, because, like I keep referencing in my binder, win series. And the Brewers ain't been doing that lately, man. Giants, they get it done behind J.D. Davis and Jock in that first game. Alex Cobb and Tyro. You know how much I like that guy. Brew Crew ends up salvaging it. Senor Puke returns. Adrian Hauser. And if you look at the guys that get it done, Adames, Contreras, Yelich. Yep, that's Milwaukee's formula. Good for you, San Francisco. I was being kind of rude to you guys, and you guys have started to win a couple games. So that's what happened in your National League. Oh,
That was a lot, Poppy.
that was a lot. I haven't been up against it like that in a while. Ooh.
I just noticed you got a haircut.
That's what she said. High and tight. Had some like unworldly exchanges with my barbershop that I could feel Nikki Cass sketches for a month and a half.
Oh my gosh. Did you walk in somewhere and say, dice me up?
It's this shop of like old Eastern European guys.
Okay.
Start.
And it was unreal. The guy got mad at me. He goes, he measures my hair and he goes, so what? You haven't had, Boris is his name, nice guy. He goes, so you haven't had a haircut in 5 months? And normally, you know me, I would just smile and say like, yeah, something like that. But Trevor, I got married in February and I got a haircut right before that. That was my last haircut. So I do the math. God. I'm like, March, April, May. I was like, oh, no, it's been like 3 months. And he goes, no, 5. And I was like, no, dude, like
I know when the last one
I got
was.
this. Like I
got one
normally
for that.
not confident. And then he was skeptical. And then for the rest of the haircut, he told me about an Italian guy whose hair he cuts that lies about how often he cuts his hair. So basically it was kind of a shot at like Italians. Like he basically was just explaining to me he didn't believe me. Enough about that. I believe in the Atlanta Braves, who are 24-11 in the top of the NL East. The Mets and Marlins are both 17-18, under 500. Same with the Phillies at 16-19, and there are your Nats, 14-20, sneaking up. Pirates, 20-15, haven't gotten them yet. They've got an L7 streak going for all my central stands. Brewers are 4-6 in their last 10. They're 19-15. Cubs are 500. Reds 14-20. Cardinals haven't gotten there yet. 11-24. Dodgers 21-14. Snakes 19-15. Padres a game over 500. Giants 15-18. And the Rockies are 14-21. So, Trev, we got a lot of pelts that we got to skin. That's not a phrase. Like the fact that we haven't even gotten to the Cardinals yet has scared me because they're like the main topic.
I think if you have a pelt, you've already skinned the animal.
Yes. I guess pelts to
I think
skin.
I'm big into pelts. Like I like it. I want more animal.
Back in the day, you would have been
house.
a massive pelt guy.
You would have a pelt closet.
Interesting. Okay. Where do you want to start, bro? Where we dropping?
Where we dropping, boys?
Chicago. Let's just go. Cron pot it up. We're going to hit these quick, guys. We got
Cron
some stuff
pot,
we
but
want to
tight.
get
But
to.
what do you got? Because Mets fans are in a little bit of a panic.
Okay, that's not Cron pot. We're going to start with the Marlins and the Cubs.
Mets fans
Go
are
Cubs.
panicking. Let's start with Cubs Marlins. You're right.
Go Cubs, go. You're going to talk about Justin Steele a little bit later. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Happer, nice freaking first game. That's all the offense they needed. He's passed me in homers.
Yeah.
He's better looking than me. He has all his teeth.
Got the payday.
Got more money.
Yeah.
Son of a whatever, Happer.
Well, it's not liquid yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, just don't do anything really stupid, Happer. No, I can't say that. This guy's the best guy in the world. Love you so much.
Yeah, he's
the last game's interesting, man. The Marlins, who are just like a decidedly average team, record.
Ooh.
They are. What? That's
Ooh.
I feel like that's a compliment, bro.
Trev, that was beautifully said and also deeply cutting.
Their record is decidedly average.
In the
all
court
of their
of law,
statistics.
in the court of law, no one has an argument against you.
No, not at all. You could say below average in some aspects, but they've been winning these freaking one-run games.
Yeah.
11-0.
Yeah.
They do it again. Sandy, goes 8 1/3. He ends up, having the game tied against them, and then they exchange some back and forth there in extra innings, and they finally get the job done, which is nice for the Marlins. I mean, look, if you want to stay in contention, you got to keep winning these one-run games, I guess, and you can't be getting swept. I guess that's my path to postseason success. No, that's not what I'm looking for. To be able to be there, we got to start being not decidedly average in something. I guess for them, it's the one-run games, but let's try to hit the ball a little bit more. If you're a Marlins fan, go Cubs, go. Where are they sitting at right now? I know you just read the standings.
They're 500. They're in third place. Someone yelled at us. I think we did like our first month check-in like a little over a week ago. I think it was the 30th, 31st.
I think it was Monday's
and some of the Central people kind of came at me and like in a genuine way. They were like, "Hey, Central's been pretty good this year. Like, you guys joke about the elitist stuff sometimes." None of the NL Central teams have a winning record over their last 10. Your leader in the clubhouse is Cincy at 5-5. And even, I don't need to do full shots fire. It's the same in the AL Central, except those Detroit Tigers who are 6-4 in their last 10. I don't know. It goes back to my whole, I don't know the next chapters. I just know something like Justin Steele is important and I can sink my teeth into. That's why I want to talk about him later. And hey, Marlins, I don't know if it's available. I don't know the trade market. Get a lockdown closer. I know Puck has been really, really good for you guys. Sandy having to go out for the 9th inning, I know there's some beauty to it because he's a freak show, but it's also like, what damage did you also do otherwise? That instead of him coming out 8 innings shutout, now it's, 8.1, 2 runs or whatever it is. Like, the mental fatigue of that is tough because Sandy didn't have a great April. And then he comes out and he does this and you get the win, but basically 2 games later in the 14th inning.
Yeah, the bullpen hasn't been great for them. I can butter knife the stats for you if you want to back up my theory. Because I could have said below average, but I said decidedly average. 15th in average for their offense. That's right in the middle. Yep. 17th in ERA for their starters. Pretty much right in the middle. And 17th in whip for their relievers. Pretty much right in the middle. So that's just so average. A
lot of girls say they like decidedly average. The Mets, Trev, are you worried? Rockies, Kelsey's Rocks come into town. Shake them up a little bit. Trev, when I read that, I knew things hadn't been good. They got off to a 14-7 start. So what's that math? Is that 3-14? Did I crunch the numbers wrong? Mets are in a slide, dude.
It's been bad for them. And like they've had, their fair share of injuries and stuff happen to their pitching staff. It's really thin right now. And that's one way to lose games, and now you're losing to, the Rockies. I think before that, the Tigers came in, right? And did it to him, I think. Who was it?
I can double check. 3-11 since in their recent stretch. Not
great, huh?
No.
I think there's a lot of teams, a lot of people in New York panicking. And I guess I don't know what the recipe for them to be successful is. I guess getting healthy on the pitching front. Tommy Hunter, famously said, is he going to get over the half saves? Not pitching too hot right now. I don't know if it's looking good. Pitching's like a 7 ERA, but he's still getting into the games.
Yeah,
so he's still getting a chance.
I don't want to be rude to the Mets. We throw on all the screens for the Sunday games, and every pitcher they brought out was just getting hit. And hey, a little credit to the Rockies. Like Chris Bryant had a Chris Bryant homer that you're like, wow,
you can do it
with your swing path. You're one of the few guys that would have been able to hit that for a home run, and you did. And then they got the kid Tovar's playing some ball. Kelsey's trying to get everyone's awareness up on that. I don't know what it means for the Rockies. I do know, again, in Rockies fashion, there's some young guys that have been performing, and hey, sometimes that's enough to get you through a baseball season. Whether it's a Tovar, whether that's a Feltner pitching for them, I don't know, but yeah, I know Marquez is now out for the season for them. And hey, this is just a really weird kind of Jake note. Where's Marquez from? Is he Venezuelan? I think so. I'll double check. Yeah, he's Venezuelan. They listed like Venezuelan pitchers, and this just goes kind of a good thing about how international our game is going. They were showing like most starts by Venezuelan pitchers. Cookie Carrasco is number 1 by a lot. And then I think Marquez was sneaky up there that I was like, you forget that there's so many more future studs coming from these countries. Oh, they were showing active pitchers. But Venezuela hasn't, there's not a lot of guys that are like, oh yeah, 1970, this guy was incredible. It's Felix, Freddie Garcia, Zambrano, Johan, Carrasco, Martin Perez, Eduardo, Herman Marquez. All of these guys are really, Omar Dahl is your guy going back to 93, but we talk about Japan burgeoning as a baseball country, and a lot of these, some of these other countries are just getting going that, I don't know, weird tangent, but opened my eyes a little bit.
Okay. I had no idea where you're going with that one. You found your space there. I'm okay with that.
Venezuela, baby. I'm in.
I said I don't know what the Mets need to do to get it going. It could be as simple as having JV back doing his thing. And then Max Scherzer figuring out. I mean, Senga's been good this year.
Yeah.
If you got those 3 guys going, you can figure out the 4 and 5 spot. Duquesne, I think, has been all right?
He might have got hit in that last game, but I think
he had a few good starts. I know that. And I'm not even sure that's how you say his name. I'm so bad with names, and I'm so fucking domed up about it, dude, that I feel like I make more errors because I'm in my own head about it. Let's go, man. Let's move on.
Mets, get it going. I didn't know Francisco Alvarez wears number 4. BBD's a big number guy.
Switched this year.
That was kind of like, oh wow.
They gave him a real one.
Guy stuff. Win series. That's all that matters. That's what the Snakes do again. Not as many eyes on that series as I'd like. I think more were on the other West Coast series, the Dodgers-Padres, which we talked about a little bit, Trev. That's a big series. That's a rivalry. The Padres seemed like they were getting the train going out of the station. Again, it's so crazy how one game can change the whole conversation, right? Josh Hader, the best closer in baseball, gets one more, Mookie gets a little under it or a little over it, and wow, these Padres, they're hot. Instead, Dodgers roll.
Just an incredible series to watch. The pitching matchups: Kershaw versus Darvish, May versus Snell, Urias versus Musgrove. I mean, that's all you got to say right there. And they kind of lived up to the hype. I know Kershaw, got hit around a little bit. I think that he ended up getting some of those runs where he came out and they gave up those runs. So inherited runners, if you will. Then, we got to talk about the crying Kershaw meme, but we'll get to that. Dustin May was throwing absolute little aspirin balls up there, dude. I mean, the ball looks so tiny coming to the plate. It's crazy, dude. Some movement on his pitches at 100 miles an hour is some stuff that you shouldn't be able to do. He goes 6-inning pitch with no earned runs. The Dodgers win that one. And then, the final game we kind of already talked about it. Incredible. depending on which side you're on, I guess. Sold out Petco Park, Josh Hader versus Mookie Betts, 2 outs. Let's go. Like that place would have went off.
Yeah.
Would have went off.
Yeah.
And he hits the homer, ties the game, and then they end up freaking winning it. And it wasn't just Outman, it was Michael Busch.
Yeah.
Who hadn't even taken in a bat since Tuesday.
Yeah.
And goes up there, gets the base knock, and then, Outman, your linebacker guy, does it, puts the game out of reach. And that was an incredible series. And, people ask, is that a rivalry now? And we've kind of gone back and forth on that. And Urias called it a rivalry.
It is.
Straight from the horse's mouth, right?
It is, man. I mean, those, yes, those teams have been, dude, the talent on the field. It's crazy, dude. There's, I know they were doing this in another series, and I don't know, part of me feels skeevy about it because you don't want to like play with young guys' careers like this, but potential like Hall of Famers that just every camera shot, whether it's a Kershaw, whether it's Mookie and Freddie, which like those guys I don't hesitate at all, but you forget Urias is 26, and then you look at the Padres and you see Nando, Machado, Soto, Bogey, there's so much talent on the field that it was an awesome experience watching last night.
It was. That's like a marquee matchup. Hopefully we'll get to see it in the playoffs again. I want to make a plea to Dodgers front office. Because I know we're all in on, not we, I know you guys are going to be all in on Ohtani.
Right.
We know that.
Yes.
Figure a way to keep Julio around too. Come on, man. This guy, I know he's my favorite pitcher, so I'm biased. But like, this is the rock that you need in your rotation. Like, this is going to be your guy. Like, go pay him.
Dude, and
you can do both.
Trev, you're my economics guy, but I mean, there's a pretty big Latino Mexican community in LA, and he's like, the dude's a king, man. Like, it feels like a no-brainer that, you're right, it's a little surprising that that's almost not done.
It's like they let it go too long. They don't think they can or something. I mean, he's going to demand a pretty penny because of his age and his track record, but he's a guy that's done it all for you. He's relieved games. He's now become one of the most dominant starters in the National League, and he just is ice cold, bro. Like, put him in any situation,
ice cold,
and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I'll go get the job done. And like, dude, you have to have that. You can't have guys, like your one has to be like that. He can't be rattled.
Yeah.
Julio Urias does not get rattled. So hopefully they can bring him back, man. I just would be, I mean, for his sake, I hope he, gets what he wants and is pitching somewhere that he's happy. And that might not be in LA. I know he loves it here, but he could be happy somewhere else too. But just thinking about watching him in a different uniform is kind of tough for me.
Hey, a lot of those same copy and paste you could probably say for Xander Bogaerts, but you know what? The $300 million he got from the Padres and playing in San Diego, he don't mind. So Urias is gonna do his thing after season, and you're right. You wonder how much Ohtani plays in and how much, the moving parts of baseball.
Wait, don't move on because I need to get your take on this.
Okay.
You saw the crying Kershaw meme after the game.
Yes.
On the Jumbotron. Big old fucking crying Kershaw. What do you got?
Jumbotron people are running hot. We talked about this pre-show a little bit. I actually didn't hate, they have those little blurbs come up for players, and they make some jokes in there sometimes, and they had the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, excuse me. When Jonah Heim came up, they mentioned and he has a daughter, but he didn't name her Anna, which would be Anaheim. So, there's a little punchy joke there. I get it. I guess in a blurb here and there, I don't hate that. You throw a little curveballs. I think our Brewers do that in a fun, tasteful way a lot. I mean, that's too far. It's social media. You don't need that. What are we doing?
that's kind of where I landed on this whole thing. I'm going to expand on my thoughts on baseball today because it is one of Chris Rose's questions.
Wow.
But it feels to me, yeah, it's like, dude, we started to see this on social media where like these team accounts became like funny and they're digging back and forth at each other. And I'm like, okay, it's social media. But a massive crying Kershaw on the Jumbotron seems a little bit disrespectful to me, dude. Like
the Hall of Famer.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know we're all about having fun and we want to entertain people, but Mookie called it antics to try to get under our skin. And I don't know if it let the Dodgers, or maybe it did get under their skin and use it, as motivation. Mookie is like, fuck, I don't want to be crying Mookie on the Jumbotron, so let me just hit a game-tying homer right here.
Yeah.
If he got out, were they going to have crying Mookie?
Who knows what they had prepared?
Kershaw was good about it. He said, if we win, there's no crying Kershaw.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, too.
Kershaw will go to his basement with his samurai sword collection and
I think that's my take, is I don't like it.
Chop up a Padre.
I want the samurai sword collection.
I don't know what he's got down there.
I want the more subtle digs. And and teams have been doing this forever. Like, I remember one series we were in Milwaukee. You mentioned their Jumbotrons. It's right in front of your face. It's in center field. Right. You can't ignore it. It's ridiculous that that's where it is. But they put like stats up, like Trevor Plouffe is 1 for his last 20 something. And they just like make stats up, like whatever your worst stat. And they would put those stats up and you'd be like, fuck, man. And they would get in your head a little bit. And I'm like, okay with that. That was like subtle mental warfare.
Home field cooking.
Subtle mental warfare. Not like if they would have put a big picture of me like in diapers or something, like I would have been like, this is kind of strange. And that seems like where we're headed. I don't know if I like it, man. Am I just old or what?
No, there's a line. There's a line. And there's that cringe line. And basically,
it's a little cringy.
The Kershaw, that's a little cringe.
It's like, you know why I think about that?
Why is that, Trevor?
Because I know it's some young kid, like a team of people.
Now you're sounding old.
But it's like a team of people, right? I mean, it has to get signed off by somebody, I'd assume. Some boss has to sign off on that.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I think people in San Diego liked it, so who fucking cares what I say?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Willie Mays. Trev, we gotta go, dude. We haven't touched Sox.
Nikes.
We haven't touched Cardinals. Like,
all right, let's go.
This is where we're at.
Let's go Interleague, and we got to talk Cardinals. Then we got to give our awards and stuff because I do have to be out of here in 36 minutes.
Chris Rose gonna scream at you. Baseball today.
Go Giants, go.
Trev, I mentioned it earlier. Pirates L7 hit, sunk my battleship. This time it's the Blue Jays, who just, I don't know what you want to say, take him out behind the woodshed. They crush him. Man, Trev, the total run differential in this series, 22-3. 22-3. The Bassett Hound, he eats. Belt, Kirk, and Kiermaier in the second game. Kiermaier had a big series. And Kikuchi, every time you see him, he's throwing with more velo. Hit 110 this series. Dominant sweep by the Jays and Pirates. The magic seems to be running out. We'll see. White Sox win another series. How about it, kid? They win the first game. Luis Robert puts up a big game. Your Reds, who are playing fine ball right now. India, 3-for-3 day at the office. Couple swipes. Love that. Hot. The White Sox, massive inning in that final game. 11 runs. Handsome Hanser Alberto, 4-for-4 in that game. All the boys end up hitting. And the White Sox, now you've won a couple series. Great. Join the party. The Red Sox have joined the party. They win the series. They were going for the sweep. They had won 8 in a row. Kyle from Waltham, he hits just a signature Kyle Schwarber home run. Like it It's just so demolished, and he makes it seem so easy. Taijuan Walker with the big stop. But they got a huge start from Chris Sale, 6 innings pitched, 10 Ks. The Red Sox starters have been giving them the 5 innings, Trev. I think it's 12 or 13 consecutive Sox starts going into the 5th, and we said that's what they need. So the formula there is working. Tristan Casas getting on base. Good for you, kid. And then maybe the best baseball played this weekend. Orioles-Braves. Orioles take Game 1. They get to our guy Max Fried a little bit, which you don't see that a lot. You just don't. They win that game. Atlanta comes back and wins the second game, and then we're going to Buenos Cantos. Extra innings. Braves, Michael Harris Deuce gets it done. Baltimore's first consecutive losses since April 8th and 9th. This team, man, they are relentless. 2 incredible teams. The Braves stop Mountcastle's on base streak. Marcelo Ozuna, he hits another homer. And then, Trev, Tigers, Cardinals. Tigers, they take game 1. They take game 2. They were trailing in the first game. They come back. Cardinals are 0 for 11 on series openers. Then we're going to extras in the second. Cardinals losing streak goes to 8. And then Paul Goldschmidt says, you know what? Screw all of it. Here's 3 homers. Everyone else figure it out. And they figured it out enough to get the win in that last game. But we're talking Contreras isn't catching. Now he is. It's messy in the Lou. And that's what happened in the Interleague.
I know we got to run through this quick. We want to talk about Cardinals and Contreras, but I want to say for the Orioles, I know you lost 2 of 3, but I feel like this was such a good test. Where are we at really? Let's go play one of the most well-rounded teams in all of baseball at their home park. And you played well, man. You go in there, beat them the first game. You get to their best pitcher. You do it. Santander, what's up, bro? Doing it. And then the second game, you have to go up against Strider. I mean, they faced their guys. And you lost the last 2 games, 1-run games. You could have got them. I think, even though you lost 2 or 3, you got some great starting pitching from guys. That's what we talk about with the Orioles. Are they going to pitch enough to do it? They're going to be able to hit. They've shown that. They went toe-to-toe with the best team, one of the best teams in baseball, a top-tier team in baseball. I feel like you got to be happy as an Orioles fan that this happened. I know you lost the series, but man.
Can I tell you something?
Great showing.
They're not. Because the Orioles fans that watch this team every day, and I feel like I've become a siren for them. This team is really good, man. It's not I think Oriole fans have moved on to the next stage, and I think they're waiting for everyone to catch up because they're a problem, dude. And maybe the bottom will fall out, and I'll become an Orioles apologist if that's the phrase. But I don't know, man. I think this team is. I've said it for a while now. I've said it since 3 weeks into the season. They are one team that I have full-blown changed my opinion on in this season. They are really good.
I mean, it took a Kevin Pillar pinch hit homer in game 2.
And Bautista
sometimes
bounces.
Things just happen. By the way, welcome
one.
to the 100 home run club.
Wow.
JP, I was actually just hanging out with one of his friends last night, Peter Ma. Shout out Peter Ma.
Let's keep Pilar under that vaunted 106 number, though.
Yeah, just relax a little bit, bro. A lot of people passing me lately. What's up with that?
Are you DMing them when they do?
No.
That's what.
No.
Come on.
I thought I was gonna start doing that, but then I'm people be like, "What are you talking about?
Leave me alone."
Shut up, bro." Yeah, basically. Yeah. I don't know, man. You say that the Orioles fans are pissed, but I don't know. It's a pretty good series for them.
Not pissed.
And
they
Braves fans
expect
are
to win.
This is what we do.
Yeah, Braves are. They're in another galaxy.
They got Raisel Iglesias back. That's nice for them.
They're just laughing at the division behind them at this point. And one of those teams behind them is the Phillies that I've talked about them a little bit. They They had a tough start to the year. They fought back, and now they found themselves in tough schedules, and they ran into the wrong team at the wrong time, and kudos to the Red Sox. 8 straight. They pass the lineup theory and that rotation, Trev. I know we dance, and the bullpen's good. What do you get from your starters? If you're getting 5 innings, especially the way this team is built, that's how you go on win streaks, and that's what they did. Boston has the sauce right now.
Shout out Chris Sale.
Your guy.
Back-to-back start. He hit 99. That's huge for them. That's huge for the Sox. You know, we another team that we talk about their starting pitching. We knew they were going to hit. They put together a really good lineup. But to have Sale kind of like returning to form a little bit, it's got to feel real nice as a Red Sox fan.
We're looking.
They're crushing the ball, by the way.
We're looking for things that are tangible. Like when we look at these teams and we're trying to project, it's why you alluded to Justin Steele. That's a tangible thing that can change your season. Like if he's this good, the Cubs, that's impactful. The Sox, Casas has an on-base streak. Like Yoshida, tell me someone who's straight selling on that guy right now. You won't find him. Devers is leading the AL in homers. Like the Red Sox, my analytics binder, Trev, they hit a lot. And when they pitch enough, they're going to win. They're going to win games. And they've been pitching enough.
Barely.
I know.
Like you mentioned, like the starters, like just get it to the 5th, bro. Please, Lord. That's what they're hoping for. The bullpen's been pretty good for them. But yeah, they're hot right now, man. The AL East. Yankees in last place.
Sure are.
Anything else we have to go? I think it's time to hit the second half of the show, Big Daddy.
Trev, we haven't even talked Cardinals, dog.
Okay. This was like the biggest thing we want to talk about.
This is like
today,
the topic of baseball.
It's the title of the episode.
Where are we going to start?
How about this? I'll tee you up the best I can. So if you don't know, the Cardinals are the worst team in the National League.
Are they really like the worst team?
They are the worst team in the National League, Trev. It's May 8th. They are 11-24. The Reds and Rockies both have 14 wins. So do the Nats. That's how bad it's been in St. Louis. We've questioned Marmol, and there's a Tyler O'Neill benching, and the pitching staff. They're not getting any pitching.
It started in spring training with Marmol, him and CB Buckner.
The standoff.
A weird feud. Like, why do you have a feud?
I don't know, felt like a lot of Buckner there. But anyways, Trev, we are friendly with Katie Wu, who writes for The Athletic. The other thing that came out, Wilson Contreras, their prize piece, and good signing, comes over from the Cubs, and, he's going to catch for them, and some of the early catching advanced numbers have been great. They come out and they say, you're not catching. We're over it. And they call up another catcher. They call up Trace Barea. And he's the locker next to Wilson, and he's kind of stunned. He's like, what? And then they come back and they're like, well, actually, we might need some Wilson Contreras at catcher, but not for now. And the whole thing is as dumpster fiery as a dumpster fire can get. They have depth and a lot of bodies, which when you're winning is awesome. When you're losing, it's a disaster. That I thought they were going to start coming out of the tailspin. That, another losing streak, and it's as bad as it gets.
So, look, there's so many ways we can go. You mentioned all the things that have gone on, and it's May 8th, people. And we're talking about a slew of, I'm not calling them, they're not scandals, but a slew of interruptions in a baseball season for a team, an organization that's famously tight clubhouse, culture is everything, Cardinals way. This has been the exact opposite of it. Holy, we talked about Buckner and Marmol. There was no, I know CB didn't want to shake his hand, but then afterwards Marmol went on and called him a bad human being or something like that. Check the quotes on that one, Beavers, for me. If you can get Marmol's quote about Buckner. That one kind of hit me the wrong way to begin the season. But you know what? Sometimes you get mad at an umpire. Okay. Then we have the Tyler O'Neill situation, which I thought was handled horrendously, like so bad. And I talked to Katie Wu about that. We kind of were aligned where we thought the doubling down of Marmol, coming back and talking more about Tyler O'Neill the next day was not a good look. And then we have this Contreras situation now where it seems like he's like kind of scapegoatish right now.
Right?
Right?
Yes.
Like the pitching has been bad. Like bullpen, starters, like it just has not been there at all. 28th in whip for your starters, 22nd in whip for your relievers. 2-strike homers have been coming at an alarming rate. They haven't been able to put people away. And from what I'm gathering, they're saying it's a feeling. They're uncomfortable pitching to Contreras, and they want some familiarity back there. But at what point do you just have to execute your pitches? At what point, do the pitchers have to say, like, dude, this is on us. It ain't about Contreras. It sounds to me, and I'm not in the clubhouse, and I haven't even spoken to Flaherty about this at all. I don't want to, because I feel like it's like, they're handling it, whatever. It sounds to me like some pitchers probably went to the pitching coach and said something. That's what will get something like this done. I don't think the front office steps in and says, we're going to make this change unless pitchers went and said something. Do you agree with that? I mean, I know you haven't been in the clubhouse. In my, experience in a clubhouse, sorry, bro.
Okay.
I didn't mean that like that.
Fine.
You know what I'm saying? Like a move like this happens because pitchers go and say something. And it's Yadi Molina. No one's going to replace this guy, dude. It's going to be different. Wilson Contreras didn't go to the WBC so he could stay in spring training and learn the pitching staff and get familiar with them. By some defensive metrics, he's actually been playing pretty good there, but they're not comfortable throwing to him.
Trev.
Or hear me out. You're just not executing.
Trev, a couple things. You mentioned that, the pitchers and players would have to kind of enact this for the front office to get involved. Why is Oli Marmol the manager?
What do you mean?
They pushed out the Dwight Schrute-looking guy. They pushed out Schilt because they basically said, we want Marmol, right? Like, that's how that goes down with all the veteran leadership in that clubhouse. So we know the players have a voice to a certain extent. So I think you're absolutely right on that. And Trev, I mentioned when you mentioned that the Marlins are average, and I can't argue against you. I don't have any data points. That tweet that was going around, and it's been going around, that Cardinals pitchers have given up 21 or 23 2-strike homers. Again, I need more of the comparison. Like, what are the other teams at? I know it's number 1 in baseball, but I don't know if number 2 is like 12. That's not a stat I keep track of regularly. But what you noted, that if I was legal Jake and we were in the court, I would back your ass on, Wilson Contreras ain't thrown one of those pitches. He hasn't thrown one of those 2-strike pitches that have been hit for a homer. So I don't care if you like the call or not. You don't have to give up a home run. That, yeah, man, it feels like you made a 5-year investment for a guy that you thought was going to catch a lot at least the first 2 years. And then maybe there's some DH, catcher, left field. We've seen this with a lot of good hitting catchers, right? Your guy
Goldie's contract expires.
First base could open. Joe Mauer did some of that for you guys. It feels like a month in, they're making another panic move.
Oh, it reeks of desperation because, this is clearly a desperate time for them.
Don't say reeks.
And it's tough for me, man. Like, I'm putting myself in Contreras' shoes. And, like, again, we don't know what's going on necessarily in the clubhouse. Like, we can be totally off about this. This is just us speculating. I feel like I'm on it. First, they said we're going to use him in the outfield. He started practicing in the outfield. What do the Cardinals have in spades? Outfielders.
Outfielders.
What are we doing? And then a day later, actually, he won't be playing any outfield. He's going to be our DH. Like, and I know Contreras like went to him and said, I'd rather just be DH than outfield. Like, it doesn't make sense. And he's like, am I the only one noticing that we have all these outfielders? Why are you putting me in the outfield? But like, it's a mess. And this is like, the Cardinals don't operate that way, dude. And then for some reason this year, they're the messiest team in the big leagues. No. And is it all because Yachty's not there? Holy shit. Bring him back on the coaching staff right now. Instead of punting on your $87 million man a month into the season, just go hire Yachty and say, dude, we'll pay you whatever you want. Come back and help.
I mean, honestly, that sounds so logical in our heads that I wonder, like, a conversation around that has had to happen, right?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
What I do know is Foco, Trev. That's right. Foco is back. Foco.com, officially licensed Major League Baseball and MLB PA. Know what I have in front of me right here, Trev? Yeah. Oh, wow. You've got is that handsome Joe Ryan over there?
It is. Hey.
I've got Dave Winfield, Gold Glover. Judge before judge, some people are saying. Wide range of mascot bobbleheads. You've probably seen me wearing their clothing, the floral shirts, straw hats, loungewear. It's for fans. If you're a fan of your team, you're going to want to go to Foco, and you're going to get 15% off your first order when you use code JOHNBOY. FOCO.com/JOHNBOY. Get ready to gear up. Code JOHNBOY. 15% off your first order. And I promise you, you will find something from your team that you will like to represent your fandom. So go check out Foco.
Can I say something?
Please.
Remember I said something about Marmol? I went and got the quote. I'm sure you got it too, Beavers, but I found it. And I quote, he has zero class as a man. What?
That's just not something you say publicly.
No. For what reason? Hey, guess what? CB is going to umpire some of your games.
And paths will cross.
Isn't CB Buckner like a Marine or a Navy guy or something? Or did I dream that?
I don't know. That's just not something you say, bro. Those are fighting words. If someone came up to me and said, you have zero class as a man, I'd want to fight him. That's about as low as a freaking diss as you can get.
Yeah, you don't.
Zero class as a man. And let me tell you about CB. You might not like him as an umpire, but dude, like, kind of a nice guy.
Yeah, and I'm confusing him with someone else. He wasn't military, but I mean, interesting story. Born in Jamaica. That's a sentence you don't say. I
didn't like his smirk when I got out there, and then he questioned my time in the league, so I returned the favor and questioned his time in the league. That was the back and forth when CB was like, you just got here. And you know what? CB is telling the truth.
He does work with the youth club in Brooklyn. Like, hey, man, maybe don't. He organizes an annual treat day for 300 kids in Jamaica. So, like, I don't know, man.
Zero.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Dude, I don't.
It's weird.
Say I don't like him.
How about this, Trev? We don't know everything, and we never will. But there's now a laundry list of items with